welcome to week 6. I'm halfway through my weight loss program. I am getting ready right now to leave for the weekend to go to Daytona Beach. I have done all my cardio this week. I've stuck to my diet 100%. I've done all my weight training, so I'm really hoping that my weigh-in reflects all of my hard work. This week's topic is on how to create a well-balanced diet. Last week I talked about carbohydrates, so it's fitting for me to talk about proteins and fats this week. For your proteins, stick to lean proteins. My 3 favorite are whey protein isolate, lean chicken breast, and lean fish. These are all good sources of protein because they are complete proteins, meaning that they contain all 8 essential amino acids. And as for fats, fats are good for you. Same thing with carbs, don't go carb free. Same as fats, don't go fat free. Just make sure you're eating the right kinds of fats. Saturated fat is bad. Trans fats, as I'm sure you know, are bad, but unsaturated fats are good. The 2 types of unsaturated fat that you want to look for on your nutrition labels are going to be polyunsaturated fat and monounsaturated fat. And although some products won't tell you what specific unsaturated fat is in them, you can see, for example, on this product it says 2.5 grams of fat. 0 come from saturated, 0 come from trans fats. Therefore, you know the product has 2.5 grams of healthy fats. My favorite sources of fats are olive oil, avocado, and raw almonds or any other kind of nuts. Now be careful when you're eating fats because each gram of fat contains 9 calories. With proteins and carbohydrates, each gram only contains 4 calories. So therefore, when you're eating fats, those calories tend to add up pretty quickly. So how much protein do you need? You should have between 10 and 35% of your overall calories per day coming from protein. For fats, you should have between 20 and 35% of your overall calories. And as I mentioned last week, for carbohydrates, you should have between 45 and 65%. Now, if those percentages sound a little bit confusing, I'm going to show you an easier way to figure out how to base a diet around those percentages. So let's say you're going to do 20% of your calories from protein, and we're averaging out around the middle of those. So 55% come from carbs, and 25% come from fats. And say you decide that you're going to eat a 2,000 calories a day diet. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 2,000 calories and you're going to times it by each one of these percentages. So you would take 2,000 times 0.20 and you're going to get 400. 2,000 times 0.55 for carbs, you're going to get 1,100. And for fats, you're going to times it by 0.25 and you're going to get 500. So therefore, each day you'd be eating 400 calories from protein, 1,100 from carbs, and 500 from fats. Now, if you're still a little confused about how to manage your diet around this, remember I mentioned earlier that there are 4 calories per gram of protein, 4 calories per gram of carbs, and there are 9 calories per gram of fats. So you take your 400 calories, divide that by 4, take your carbohydrates, 1,100, divide by 4, and take your fats, 500, and divide by 9. And with that, you will get 100 grams of protein per day. You would get 275 grams of carbs. And you would get 55.5 grams of fat, and you just round that up to 56 grams. So that's what your intake should be looking like each day. Now let's say you decide to eat 5 meals per day. Take these numbers here, divide by 5. So you can figure out how many calories per meal, and you get protein, 20 grams per meal, carbohydrates, 55 grams per meal, and fats, 6.2 grams per meal. So if you're eating 2,000 calories a day using these well-balanced percentages and you're eating 5 meals a day, this is approximately what each one of your meals would look like. Now, don't go be psychotic and count every single gram and morsel of food that you eat, but just keep this as a general guideline and base your meals around this, and you'll know that you're eating a well-balanced diet. So give it a try, figure out how many calories you eat, what percentages you'll use, and see what you can do to make your diet that much better. $125.1. I climbed. I only went up 0.2, but I mean, so I'm doing everything right. I can either be frustrated about that or take my own advice and not pay such close attention to the scale, because water weight does fluctuate, and especially as a woman and having a menstrual cycle, I was reading, I think it's about like 2 to 10 pounds that you can gain at different times of the month. So I'm not going to let that stress me out. More motivation just to push myself next week and get a little more strict with myself. So it's okay. Like always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.